Hi guys, we're back at you from the old barracks in Bird Hill, Tipperary. Today we're going to look at changing coffees in your coffee machine. So we know that when you have, for example, our home blend in your machine and you want to change for another coffee like a single origin, there might be some settings that you have adjust on your grinder or in terms of your the dose that goes into the basket in order to get the right extraction time and the right type of shot. So if you have seen our video on does your shot looks like this, that's a really good base point to come from. So we're going to show you what we have set up here right now to give us an extraction with the home blend espresso, and then I'm going to change this coffee for one of the coffees that's on the bar right now, which is our Honduras La Torrera. You can buy this online and nationwide in the Harvey Norman stores. So let's go and make a shot with the home blend. I'll show you what that looks like and what the settings are in the grinder, and then we'll change it for a bag of Honduras and we'll see what changes, if any, we have to make. So we're going to start here on the grinder. My settings for the home blend roast are 17.8 for the grind time. So this is the Sage dual boiler and we've got the Sage Smart Pro grinder here. So the grind time is 17.8. We're making a double shot. So this is the button here to tell you that we're making 2 shots or a double shot. And then the current grind size is 7 points. So that's the setting for the home blend right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make an espresso. I'm going to show you what that looks like. It should be a really nice shot. And then we're going to change for the Honduras bean and we'll see, if anything, what we have to change. So as you saw with the home blend, the shot is lovely and slow, very deliberate, lovely flow as it tapers in towards the cup and gave a really nice crema on the coffee. And that's because of the settings that we have in the grinder, and that's what we want our espresso shot to look like. Now we're going to change for Honduras coffee, and this is La Torrera. It's a little bit lighter. It's in the medium coffees in our range. So I expect, if I use the exact same settings on the grinder that I did with the home blend, that this coffee is going to run a little bit faster and I won't quite get the flavor that I'm looking for. So let's have a look at how this works. And I'm going to remind you of the settings. I'm not going to change anything. So the settings for the home blend were 17.8 for a double shot and grind size 7. Let's add the Honduras into the grinder and we'll see what those settings give us in a shot and what we have to adjust. So I have dialed in, which is what we call it in the trades, the Honduras La Torrera. And it's significantly different to the home blend and how the home blend extracts through the machine. So this is the fun part, if you'd like, when you're exploring new coffees and when you're getting to understand how coffees behave. And it's also the most complex part about what we do as professional baristas or professional roasters when we're making coffees on the bar. So I'm going to talk you through what I'd had to do in order to get this Honduras brewing in a similar style and making my special shot look really, really good. Now, something to bear in mind is that this coffee, so these two coffees, the home blend and the Honduras, are vastly different. This coffee is roasted a little bit darker, so to speak, which means the flavors are more rich and the crema is going to be more rich. This coffee from Honduras is a lighter coffee, a little bit lighter than this one, which means we've roasted it a little bit lighter. Now, what does that mean? So in food parlance, that means maybe that this coffee is roasted medium and the other home blended roasted medium to well. It's just a slight difference, but it means that what we have done is we have captured specific flavors and a specific type of body in the home blend that gives really good character and brews really, really well when you're making coffees for home through milk, Americanos, nice rich morning coffees. The Honduras coffee, being a medium coffee or a little bit lighter than that, means it's going to brew differently. So let's have a look at what I had to do and what I had to change in order to get this shot flowing really, really well. So I'll come down here to my grinder and let's have a look now at my new settings. So my new settings are a grind time of 20.6 seconds for a double shot, and the grind size is finer. So what I've actually created here is I have finer pieces going into the basket, and because I'm asking the grinder to grind pieces really, really fine, I have to give the grinder more time to do that job in order for me to get my 19 grams in here. Now, I know that on these machines in particular, where you have the bigger baskets, and even on the bar in here in our roastery downstairs, we usually roast coffee in a way that allows us to put 19 grams, 20 grams, 21 grams in the basket. This is a standard double shot dose here for specialty coffee. So I'm aiming for 19 grams in here. And if you look at our brew at home cards, you'll see that the rule of thumbs for this are, if you're putting 19 grams in the basket, we're going to multiply that 19 by 1.5 to give me 27, which is the extraction time I'm going to aim for. And I'm going to multiply that 19 grams by 2 to give me the volumetrics of what I want to get in the cup, which is 38 grams or 40 grams. So they're all rules of thumb. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to watch my extraction. And as my extraction starts to drip into the cup, and starts to flow, and as that color change comes during the extraction, so when it goes from dark and oily to more clear and translucent, I know that I've extracted all the coffee out, all the flavor out of that coffee. So let's watch this shot now on my new settings for the Honduras through the Sage Dual Boiler. Okay, so as you notice with this is a lighter crema because this coffee is a lighter roast. So what you did also notice is that the extraction time. So after yielding 36 grams, which is my target here, in 24 seconds. And I think that based on how your shot should look, this is a really good representation of what the Honduras will brew like for you at home. But you'll notice I had to go quite broad on the changes with the parameters. So we went from a grind time of 17.6, I think, up to 20.6, so an extra 3 seconds on the grind time. And the grind size, I moved down 4 points from 7 down to 3. So that's how I dialed in the Honduras, having used the home blend. So there's a big shift there. So now I'm going to show you how to change from the Honduras La Torrera to the Brazil Fazenda Salto. This is the newest Brazil that's in our range, and this coffee is roasted a little bit more darker than the Honduras. This is a lighter coffee. And let me tell you, while we're here, a little hack about our coffee bags that you'll notice. So this being a lighter blue and this being a darker blue suggests to you that this coffee is roasted a little bit more dark than this. So if you're looking at the coffees in our range, the lighter the color of the bags, the lighter the roast, and the more colourful the colour of the bags, the more fruit and acidity typically is found in the coffee. So what I'm expecting is that this coffee, this Honduras, I have to grind it very fine, and in order to get a very good extraction, and I'm going to have to change the grind a little bit in terms of making the grind a little bit more coarse, but still very fine for this Brazil. So let's dial it in and see what happens. Coffee. So smells so good. Let's dial that in. Settings here are grind amount is taking 18.4 seconds to grind for a double shot, and the grind size is grind size 7. Okay, so let's look at this beautiful fresh coffee. I'll give you a little look at the crema. Come in close. Nice rich crema. A couple of bubbles on top. That's just because of the way the coffee has been falling from the spout. So this looks really nice. So you can see that I had to adjust the grind settings a little bit for this. Around 18.4 seconds to give me 19 grams, so 19.2, that's close enough. For a double shot, grind size 7, we extracted for 26 seconds, and we got a beautiful double espresso, 40 grams here in the cup. So that's how you dial in the Brazil Fazenda Salto that we're going to be drinking for the next couple of months coming up to Christmas.